No one.
All right, what's going on, Gator fans? Keith Niebuhr of Gators Online, joined by senior writer Zach Albaverde, who is in Jacksonville. And Zach has just witnessed the Florida Gators lose a heartbreaker, 24-20 to the Georgia Bulldogs. I got to say, Zach, I think this was one of the more painful losses for the Florida Gators in this series in recent memory. But this is the Gators Online Rapid Reaction Show. If you like what we're doing, hit the like and subscribe button down below. And as always, we got great coverage over at GatorsOnline.com. But we like to chat with everybody after these games. And Zach, just your quick thoughts on what you saw behind you on that field in Jacksonville today.
Yeah, unfortunate, man. This was a game that Florida had, Keith. This was a game where they played really well in the first quarter. They had a solid third quarter, but really the game got away from them in the second, and then obviously the fourth. They had chances to put the game away. I give them credit. Georgia took that 17-0 lead in the second half. The Gators scored 10 straight points. They got the lead back early in the fourth quarter. They drove all the way down here into UGA territory and could not convert that third and short with Lagway on that keeper that was almost a fumble. Yeah. And then instead of kicking the field goal, they just decided to go for it on fourth down. They don't get it. Georgia drives back down the field and scores the go-ahead touchdown. The Gators get the ball back one more time, and the long pass from Lagway to Sturdivant that was short, but maybe a catch. Was it a catch? Ruled incomplete. Kind of a controversial play. I thought it was a catch. Billy Gonzalez said after the game that it wasn't. And I give Billy G credit, man. He handled the post-game press conference well, just in terms of talking about no moral victories. Florida came here expecting to win. It wasn't good enough. But it was right there for the taking, and just another, like you said, gut-wrenching loss for this team.
Yeah, just want to correct one thing, Zach. I hate to correct you, but you said it was 17-0, and it was actually
17-10. 17-10.
And really some critical plays in this game. Obviously, it was a 4-point game. None bigger than that 4th and 1 from the Georgia 18. You're in the second half of the fourth quarter. Time's winding down, Zach. If the Gators can – well, a field goal would have put them up by 6, and they went for it, and I don't have a problem with that. Probably a lot of people don't either. But it was a 4th and 1 up the middle. The play kind of got blown up early by the Georgia defensive line. Yeah. Jaden Ball really had nowhere to run. And then the momentum just shifted like it does in this game. This is just one of those games where when it shifts, it really shifts. And, in fact, Kirby Smart, of all people, brought that up earlier in the week, talking about the momentum changes in this wild cocktail party series. But, Zach, what went wrong on that play? I mean, Florida had everything going for it. 3-point lead, time winding down, the ball deep in Georgia territory. Jaden Ball, who I think is clearly the best running back in the SEC, it just looked like, man, this is the moment. And, you score a touchdown there, you're up 10, and it's probably just about over. So what happened?
Well, first of all, Look, Lagway ran the ball more tonight. He had a career-long run. But I don't like the carry that they had the play before. When it's 3rd and short, I think you give it to your back that had been carrying the load all night, and you give him 2 chances to get that first down. And so I don't know. Florida did some things, great offensively tonight. They pushed the ball downfield, but obviously 3rd down was a bugaboo. Once again, 2 for 11. That's not going to cut it against Georgia and a Georgia defense that had actually struggled on 3rd down. So this was potentially a matchup for Florida to maybe find some 3rd down success. They did not do it tonight. I tell you what, Keith, I kind of disagree with the decision to go for it on 4th down. I know the analytics probably say to do it, but in my opinion, if you kick the field goal there, you go up 23-17. Yes, Georgia gets the ball back, and if they still have that same drive and they go and take the 24-23 lead instead, when Florida gets the ball back on the ensuing drive with almost 5 minutes left, instead of going 3 and out and ended up going 4 and out with the second straight turnover on downs, in that situation, if they're only down 24-23, they could have punted it instead of going for it on 4th down in their own territory, try to play a field position game, maybe get Trey Smack one last chance at a game-winning kick. But, hindsight's 20/20, and at the end of the day, Lagway, he did some good things in this game. He got off to a hot start, but just not able to make the plays at the end. And he was clearly frustrated with his performance after the game, said that he did not do enough.
Yeah, I guess just going for the knockout blow, they've just something to really kind of give the team something to go for. But, the problem was when you watch the replay on the fourth down play, you watch the Georgia defensive lineman all pinch toward the middle of the play or toward the center. And so they kind of, obviously from that, you gather, okay, they kind of figured it was going up the middle.
Yeah.
And you wonder if maybe Florida should have called time. I don't know. I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and criticize in my condo down in Tampa. You're up at the.
Do you think the Sturdivant catch was a catch?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Okay, so let's ask everybody. We got all these comments, and we got a lot of people. And even with that, Florida's down 24-20. They get the ball back. DJ Lagway rolls to his left, and that makes it a difficult throw. The throw way downfield. J. Michael Sturdivant's wide open, right? Wide open.
Yeah.
They say that he slipped on the play, but it also the ball was it appeared to be underthrown. Obviously, he had to dive for it, but maybe he doesn't have to dive for it if he doesn't slip. But either way, Zach, we're arguing about whether it was a catch or not. It probably should have been a touchdown. The two guys were not in sync, so there was your first issue right there. But it certainly looked like a catch. Georgia's gotten the benefit of every really close call this season. That's the way it goes sometimes. But I've been on some other message boards tonight of some other schools in the SEC, and they're all saying the same thing. Like,
I never saw the ball hit the ground.
Didn't see the ball hit the ground. They talked about the ball moving, but it really, the problem was the call. The call itself, the first call, calling it incomplete. You knew then, even though I saw a catch and you saw a catch, and everybody in this comments, Bitwise, Perry Mason, Matthew, Mr. Bassman, everybody saw a catch, that's in the Florida bubble. And I think we were right on this one. But the problem was once you knew, I think everybody watching, didn't you have it in your gut that the refs were not going to overturn that? That's what I kept thinking, right?
Yeah.
And it looked like a catch to me. Now, obviously, Florida still had to score a touchdown. And again, if he doesn't slip, J. Michael Sturdivant, if DJ Lagway sets his feet a little bit better and the throws on target, we're not even having this discussion. But, it's
one theory right there.
Yeah, well, it's funny. One of our good friends who covers the University of Texas for On Texas Football, Jerry Hamilton, you know him, Zach. They did a show the other day on Halloween, and he dressed up as an SEC official, and the SEC official had a Georgia Bulldogs hat on. And even the Texas fans are like, well, what's going on here? So, look, it's easy to sit here and criticize, but it looked like a catch. Georgia's benefited from several good calls this year. They don't always go your way, but it looks like they're going their way. And here's Rebecca says that she thought she saw it hit the ground. It looked like I never saw the ball hit the ground. But anyway, Florida had its chances. There was another play in the what was it, the third or the fourth quarter, Zach, where Florida was driving. Maybe it was the fourth quarter. And TJ Abrams is open on what was it, a little slant, a little post, something like that. Yeah. And DJ Lagway throws a great pass, and not all his passes were great tonight. He kind of flung a few with, where he does that, where it's all arm. But that was a great throw right in his hands. They don't get the first down. They have to settle for a field goal. And I think they went up 20-17 at that point, Zach. But then again, another missed opportunity. And so, what we see here is 4 straight years of missed opportunities, right? 4 straight years of penalties that kill you. The 15-yarder on the fair catch, where they get hit. Miscues here or there of a receiver falling down, a guy dropping a pass. And 4 straight years, by the way, Zach, how about this stat? The Gators have lost 5 straight games to Georgia, 4 of this Napier-Gonzalez era. They scored 20 points on the nose in all 4 games. 20. So it's like more of the same, you know what I mean? And it's I get the fans are just tired of it. This game, it was great. The kids played hard. The team played hard. They fought, Zach. But it also provided another, this is why they turned the page moment, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's unfortunate because this team has talent, man.
It was there. Yeah.
The defense, once again, I know it, kind of lost it there at the end, but, they can only hang on for so long, man. You can only have your offense, go 2 for 11 on third down before you start to break. But they gave up that opening drive, and then they really settled in for most of the game. They did some good things. They picked off Gunnar Stockton, only the second time that he's been picked all season. They sacked him twice. Lagway wasn't sacked at all. I think that's only the second time this season that he hasn't been sacked in a game. And he didn't throw any picks tonight for only the third time this season. So there were some good things. Look, Jaden Ball did well. Eugene Wilson, the third, had a breakout game. But all for naught.
Yeah, I never felt like I'm going to go over some stats here and then we'll let Zach off the hook and get headed back to Gainesville. I never felt like, Georgia didn't get any sacks of Lagway. They pressured him 5 times, 5 QB hurries and got him out of his rhythm a little bit. But Florida only passed for, 166 yards, and Georgia came in allowing about 215 a game. So it's like it was there. It was sort of there. The plays were there. The run, here you go. Perry Mace says just not tough enough on those first down plays when you need them. I agree. Florida struggling on third down, and yet they were in the game. Final stats: Georgia 361 yards, Florida 281. Zach, where you pointed out that Florida was 2 of 11 on third down, Georgia was 7 of 15. There's your difference right there. Yeah. 68 total plays.
And Florida started 0 for 6 on third down.
Yeah. 68 total plays for Georgia, 56 for Florida. So what does that really mean? It doesn't seem like much, but it meant that the defense was on the field a lot for Florida. In the first half, Georgia had 42 plays. And when Georgia needed that offensive drive after that turnover on downs, the 4th and 1 stop, the Gators actually did look a little tired on that last series. They were running for yards and chunks. So that stuff adds up. And they just, it's that whole thing. Billy Napier used to say, oh, they're close. And he was right, but he was also wrong. Because when the same things happen over and over again and you're continuing to lose, you're close, but you're also far away. It was time to turn the page again. I think this is emblematic of that. Zach, though, there is some talent there. Now, though, at best you could finish 7-5, which you may get into like whatever the bowl game is in Tampa that they played in last year or maybe the bowl game in Jacksonville. But you've got some tough games coming up. I don't know. Where do they go from here? I mean, they've got to be – they keep coming out. They keep playing hard. But at what point is it just like –
you know
what I mean? Enough?
Look, at this point, Keith, they got to try and replicate what they did last year and close the year on a 4-game winning streak. And I guess that would be the regular season. But they can win every single one of these games that they have left on their schedule, including at Ole Miss. That's obviously the toughest one left on the schedule. There's going to be a lot of storylines with that game, but they got to obviously get back on track. Kentucky next week is a game that they 100% can win, and they get 2 rivals at home to close out the year. So they certainly need to get to a bowl. I think that's important for the future of this program and the development of these players. But, man, just tough, man. I feel for the Florida fans, all the ones that traveled to Jacksonville. It was a beautiful day here, great atmosphere in this stadium. This game won't be here for 2 years in Atlanta next year and then Tampa in 2027. So be a while before we're back here again. But, Florida's got to go back to the drawing board now. They got some things that they can build on, though.
Last point I'll make, and then if you want to make one more, and then we'll head out of here. Zach, a lot of fans are like, who cares about the bowl game? It's going to be some crap bowl game anyway. Well, look, I don't disagree with that part of it, but it's extra practice for the young guys. And, you've got a new coach coming in. Right? He and his staff are going to want as much film as possible on the young guys on this roster. So even if you don't care about a bowl game, whether they win, lose, or whatever happens from here, it's still extra time that would be invaluable to the staff coming in. So there we go. That's it. That's all I got, Zach. Florida falls to Georgia 24-20 in Jacksonville. This is hard to say. Florida has lost 5 in a row to the Bulldogs and 8 of 9. This is like one of those streaks we saw that started in like 78 and ended in 83. Yeah. It's painful. We thought it looked like this was going to be the day that it ended. Number 5, Georgia, not really a razor's edge better than an unranked Florida team. They are there. They're close, but again, close but far away. Zach, any final thoughts before we head out of here?
Just insult to injury that touchdown was scored by Chauncey Bowens.
Yeah.
It's an extra gut punch there for Gator fans, former Florida.
No, that's right. Well, that'll do it. Florida's at Kentucky next week. Zach and I'll be back for another post-mortem on Monday, most likely, and we'll have some coaching search stuff to talk about. But really, Monday is going to be dedicated to the defending national champs. Correct, Zach? Right. The basketball team. So it's now basketball season. We're going to continue to cover the coaching search, but it's basketball season. And so we're going to, like I said, break down the season ahead for those guys and try to do all that in one show, but really focus on basketball. So we appreciate everybody stopping by. Another tough loss. If you're in Jacksonville, if you're on your way home, please be careful on the roads out there. Don't get a ticket in Waldo or Lottie. And we'll do this again Monday. Zach, be careful out there. Talk to you later.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone.